with the points tied, is this still Chase Sexton's championship to lose? And before you and I break it down, RV, I am glad. I honestly can't believe this straight up. I appreciate his honesty, but we got a little sound on tape from Jett Lawrence that he did with Jason Wygant that will be on SMX Insider later on this week, Thursday. Aaron, let's hear the defending champs that is out with an ACL repair. Let's hear what his crystal ball is telling him for the championship.
I would say if I had to put my money on someone, I think it would be Cooper. Just because, he's very smart and he does play. He's a smart racer and he has that grit to bring it out when it's needed. And he doesn't just rely on speed. He can rely on racecraft technique and taking certain lines to go faster when the track's wearing away. So I think as a standby and watching, I would have to say, and just obviously knowing Cooper too, I think and racing him obviously last year, I think Cooper will be good all season long. Even at the race he's not good at, he's always there. And then obviously Chase has some really good unreal speed when he's on, but I think some of his bad races are bad. So it's gonna be exciting one to watch to see those guys battle, because I don't think we really saw them get to battle much last year, because obviously it was me and Cooper, and then the year prior it was Chase and Tomac kind of going for the championship. So it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, Jett's completely right. Like those two, it'd be really interesting to get Chase and Coop going really head to head as this series, winds down, and to be able to see which, who prevails in that situation, which like I'm right with Jett. My money's on Coop with who's going to prevail. But Chase has more speed. Chase is probably currently with the guys that are on the track right now, he's by far has the most speed, but the mistakes, like Jett just said. So I think he's spot on with what he sees right there and what he saw. And I think the fans are I think we're looking forward to, or I'm looking forward to having those two really battle it out. Let's put it, change, Kenny and Coop, they've gone down. Coop's got Kenny pretty much on the pass, either on the last lap, last corner, multiple times. We just saw Coop get Kenny this last weekend, but let's take out and drop Chase in there. What happens with Coop and Chase going head to head? If Chase gets off the line, no mistakes, Coop gets off the line, and they're in the top three, it's going to be very interesting, because we know Chase has more speed than Coop, but Coop's a dog.
I appreciate Jett's analysis and insight on this. And what's crazy is we were talking off air. You guys tuned in today. If you're just on the audio version of our podcast, and if you're watching it live, you can see right now. But we talked about it beforehand. This is a guy, RV and I'm going to toot our horn for a little bit. We've competed at the highest level, won at the highest level, and have multiple championships in a row. So I feel like we have a good sense of, we know what's going on. We know how to win championships against all different type of competitors, whether they're fast, whether they're consistent, it doesn't matter. But even though I feel like we're spot on, you just heard from a guy that is currently racing, and currently in the series. He's laid up on the couch now, but he knows what these guys race like. He knows their strong points. He knows their challenges. And so you have to take, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, you have to respect his opinion. And I do agree with Jett. I think he's spot on. If you're a Chase Sexton fan, you're not liking what we're saying, but he's on, dude. He's on it. What are you going to tell Jett? He's full of shit. The guy knows what he's doing. Yeah, he blew out his knee. They all have, everyone gets hurt once in a while. And what happened to Jett, that wasn't a silly mistake. And this leads to me, I'm going to do a little TED talk for everybody today, RV, but this comes down to, I feel like you have common mistakes, which is what happened to Jett. And then since we're talking about Chase and Coop, I'm going to go to what I categorize as silly mistakes. And a silly mistake is hitting the gate, right? Okay.
Yep.
A common mistake is you just dab your foot in a corner. We watched Eli do it before he wrenched his ankle last week in Tampa. And I think that when you take a guy like Coop, who is, number one, he's mentally strong, he has enough speed. He isn't faster than as a one lap sprint. He is not faster than Chase. We know that. But like you have said, RV, you don't always need that. I mean, Stu is faster than me.
Yep.
But, you know, crap happens. He made silly mistakes. Common mistakes. I go back to when Coop got hurt in Nashville. Dude, he fell down in a corner and then he got hit by AC. It was accidental, but that's a common mistake. People go down in corners, right? It wasn't like, what the hell is he thinking? And I just feel like when you compare Coop and you compare Sexton, I feel like Sexton has tendencies to make silly mistakes. Some that someone of his talent level shouldn't be making. He has enough experience. He's done things wrong. He's done most things right. But I mean, like, again, just running over the gate like that, getting hung up, you cannot cough up those points to a guy, like you have said, RV, that is so strong. Like Dungy couldn't do that to you. Stu couldn't do that to me. Reedy couldn't do that to me, and vice versa. I couldn't do that to those guys, and you couldn't do it to Dunge. They just they'll chew you up and spit you out.
It happens too many times is the biggest thing. Like, yes, we've all made stupid mistakes, you know, in mistakes that should have never happened, but it's fairly far and few between.
They're common. They're not silly.
Yep. And those mistakes hitting the gate. I mean, like what we just had talked about, you know, 5 minutes ago. If you were to add up just from this season alone, how many points he spotted these guys from mistakes. In the end, at the last round, that may turn around to bite him.
Well, I think about it started at San Diego when he fell down in the first lap by him. Like, he wasn't by himself, but he screwed up. This weekend, last week, Tampa. I got to think. I have to go down the list of some more.
I mean, that's 3 already. In what are we on, round 6?
Yeah, on a guy that should be like, he should be 10 points ahead of where he is right now, in my opinion.
Yeah,
based on his speed, his talent, and so those are the things that you like. I don't know. We're what? How many years are we in on the 450 scene for him? And I just keep waiting for him to clean it up. I still think I like Coop from the mental side of things. We're just gonna have to see if and I do think Chase is strong mentally. Like, he never gives up. He's got to be strong mentally to be able to keep coming back from all this stuff that happens to him all the time.
I mean, if I'm a betting guy right now and I'm looking at it, Chase needs to go on a run. He needs to go on a run and solidify and get into. And it's hard to get into Coop's head, but if he could go on a run of like 4 wins, now you got Coop thinking like, okay, I got to rebound. I have to get my shit together. I have to come back out swinging. I can't let him get any more wins on me. But we're not seeing that. Like, he needs to go on a win, a win streak of 3 or 4 wins to kind of, like, I think, combat what is happening. Because like we had talked about, Coop smells blood in the water, and that dude he doesn't make many mistakes. And he's cold as ice, especially when it comes to his mental game. He doesn't falter very often, or
not often. Not he is one of those guys that I did, and I'm gonna like parallel it with like NASCAR stuff. And I think I've made this parallel before, but it's like when you watch Coop, if he makes a mistake, it's never like, dude, what was that clown thinking? Like what was he doing? And then like in NASCAR, when Jimmy Johnson was winning all these championships, like relatively, did he ever get pit road speed violations compared to the guys that he was racing with? It never felt like you would watch a guy like that and be like, what the hell was he thinking? Whereas like sometimes, Chase is like, dude, what happened? What were you thinking, bro? I think that's what RV and I are trying to express to everyone. And this kind of like, it goes into the mental, the mental side of things. Continuing our TED Talks today here on Title 24 RV, like the mental game. And like for me, I didn't overthink stuff. I didn't overanalyze stuff. I was very pragmatic. I go out there, I do what I can, but I tried to be very insightful as far as when I was racing and predict and anticipate things. I think that Coop is really good at that. You were really good at it. And I think maybe that's where Chase lacks a little bit. Like he's not anticipating to lose the front, or he wasn't anticipating this to happen. And I think Coop is really good at that. And that's why you see a guy like Coop not have the mistakes like others do. And on top, you go to where he's so mentally strong. And I just think that he goes out there, he does his thing. If he knows doesn't have that one lap raw speed, that's okay. He's going to play the average game. And he kind of simplifies it. Just like a guy like Jett. I know probably people try to think like, dude, what's his approach coming into these races? Well, I know his approach. He goes in there, he knows where his competitors are good, and he worries about himself. And that's what it's almost simple, right? And everything it comes instinctually. And I think that's what Coop does. Definitely he works on areas where he needs to be better, but it's a pretty simple race plan. And that's what I think gets him over the hump. That's
I agree. Simple race plan. Chase reminds me a lot of Dunge in a way of maybe an overthinker, and thinking too much and trying to do too many things, and just like to your point of just keeping it simple. It's a gate drop. You're racing dirt bikes. Try not to overthink it. But we're all athletes, and we're all trying to figure out where can we get a 10th here and a 10th there, and how can I get maybe a little more fit, or do I need to change my diet or this or that? I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole very, very easily. And I know Dunge had said that in the past. I did too much thinking. And when you get behind the bars there, it's instinctual. It's not thinking.
Bingo.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.